Ladies and gentlemen, absolute total outrage in the fan base. People are going ballistic. They're going bonkers because one Conor Gallagher, Galatuso is apparently up for sale. He will most likely be sold in the January market. This is what we're going to talk about. There's a whole heap of other news in regards to Noni Madueke and other bits and pieces. Lewis Hall as well, who's apparently eligible to play against us in the Carabao Cup. So we're going to talk about a lot of things. But this is where the outrage is, ladies and gentlemen. Conor Gallagher has touched a soft spot on people on the fan base, and it has triggered an absolute bomb. So before we get into all of this conversation, ladies and gentlemen, take a moment right now, smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. If you enjoy and you'll consistently find yourself in this channel, watching everything, to be honest, all the different discussions that we have, smash the like button. And as I said, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Now, let's talk about Conor Gallagher. We're going to try and explore every single avenue of this particular player, and the issue that is, at the moment, is the fact that he's up for sale in the January transfer market, based on all the top journalists that report on Chelsea Football Club. Now, you have many different facets here. You've got what the manager wants, you've got what the player wants, you've got from a Cobham Academy products perspective as well. You've got what the board, which is the owners and the sporting directors, what they want, and of course the fans as well. So there's many different stakeholders here, and we're going to try and look into every single one of them. Number one, think about the player. There is no doubt that the player wants to be at Chelsea Football Club. There is absolutely no doubt. He is Chelsea through and through. Passion, desire, commitment. That is all about Conor Gallagher. He's dreamt of playing for Chelsea Football Club as a youngster, and his dream is coming to fruition now. So there's no doubting his commitment, his desire, his passion to play for Chelsea Football Club. It's all there. He wants to be here. Obviously, at his terms as well. He doesn't want to be pushed around. There's no point in giving him an 8-year contract when he doesn't want to be here for 8 years. Or maybe he may, you never know, but he doesn't want to be locking himself down for 8 years, 9 years, whatever the case is. Standard 5 years with a bit more wage, and you best believe he's staying at Chelsea Football Club. So from a player's perspective, I've got no doubt that he wants to be at Chelsea Football Club. Right, that's number one. Number two, manager in recent times has come out publicly, and he's stated many times publicly how much he rates Conor Gallagher, but in recent times he's literally come out publicly and stated the club can do whatever they want to do, but all I'm saying is he's my captain, he's almost in every 11, and he's an important player for me. So he kind of said, well, the club is its own entity, but then gave the club a bit of a backhand slap that, hey, I truly, truly value this player. So you have a manager who is pretty much openly saying that I think it will be foolish if you sell Conor Gallagher because I depend on him. Now, why he depends on him and whatnot, we will delve into that a lot deeper, but we're trying to understand everyone's perspective first, then we're going to delve into all of those other things. So that's manager. The owners and the board. For them, I think financial fair play is a big issue. They've walked into this football club, well, they've bought this football club, and they've walked into all of these accounts and the books that probably wasn't maintained properly during Roman Abramovich's era. As a fan, we loved it, but I think as a football club, there might have been a lot of misuse of funds, and also not so much concerns about balancing out the books, right? Whether we like it or not, as I said, that's a different discussion. I loved it as a fan, but I understand how business works, right? So the new owners have come in with a particular direction that they want to make sure that they always balance the books. They see the Cobham graduates as pure profit, best way to balance your books, because as soon as there's no cost for these players, as soon as you sell them, you realize the profit immediately. And the board are basically following those orders. The best way to gain profit immediately is to sell these Cobham products. And at the same time, they've bought players like Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Romeo Lavia. They want to see those players being, played as a unit more regularly. They don't want to see those players being benched for Conor Gallagher. I think that is definitely their directive. At the end of the day, they've spent X amount of money for superstar midfielders. I'll get to the point who's playing well and not, because that is also another debate. But as you can see, from a board and the owner's perspective, it's a clear, message to everyone that they don't want anything to do with Conor Gallagher. They rather sell him. They feel like he's replaceable. They feel like they can get another Conor Gallagher with the same sort of attributes for much, much less money. And if they can bank somewhere around 50 to 60 million, which I think they can for Conor Gallagher, then they'll take that. They'll take that shot. Now, in regards to the Cobham, the perspective from Cobham, I think it would be disheartening for some of these youngsters that are coming from the academy to see the fact that Conor Gallagher, who's the captain, he is the captain of Chelsea Football Club because Reece James and Ben Chilwell are not available. To see him captain, to see him play so many matches, to see him be one of the better midfielders amongst Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, and yet still be sold in the next window. So for them, it would be disheartening that what future do we have as academy players at Chelsea Football Club, knowing that someone like Conor Gallagher, who's pretty much established himself under Maurizio Pochettino's, managerial stint so far at Chelsea Football Club, what sort of confidence does it give to these academy players and what future they have? They'll probably think that as soon as they get an opportunity to play for Chelsea, they're probably going to be most likely looked as pure profit and will be sold. So from that perspective, it doesn't give a great fuel for the academy. Now, from a fan's perspective, this is where I think you'll get a 50-50. There are certain fans that are absolutely outraged by this particular news at the moment. They're saying that, look, whether you rate the player or not, the manager wants this particular player, then the board should do everything possible to keep him so that, the manager can carry out their plans and their programs and the way they want to play. Then there's other parts of the fan base that's saying it's not that deep. Do you know what I mean? Conor Gallagher is someone that we can replace. When everyone is fit in midfield. And don't forget, the likes of Chukwuemeka is also part of midfield. And also we've got Andre Santos, Cesar Cassidy. When everyone is fit, and by the time Santos and Cassidy, they come back next season. Well, Santos might even come back this season in the January transfer window. His loan might be cancelled. So he's another midfielder. He might come back. That part of the fan base, and I feel like I fall in that part of the fan base as well, is saying that there's just plethora of midfielders. There's plethora of midfielders. When you have Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Romeo Lavia fully fit back in, he should be back very, very soon. You'll probably add Santos as well. Chukwuemeka to come back from injury as well. Conor Gallagher becomes, a bit of an entity that is surplus to requirements. You feel what Conor does, there should be other midfielders who should be able to be capable to carry that particular duty out. For example, Romeo Lavia should be fully able to carry out what Conor does, but even at a better level. Do you know what I mean? With the ball, scoring goals as well. So this is the split at the moment. This is how, the fan base is split and they're outraged by Conor Gallagher. My bottom line is I think we have to understand from every perspective, especially from the ownership perspective as well. They spent so much money in Enzo Fernandez, in Caicedo, in Romeo Lavia. They want to see those players being played more often. They don't want to see those players being the bench and someone like Conor Gallagher taking that spot because they spent money. And as I said, from a financial fair play point, Conor Gallagher, if we were to fetch 50 to 60 million, I think they'll take that. So, ladies and gentlemen, you let me know how you feel in the comment section about this whole Conor Gallagher situation. Are you in the boat that manager wants him? There's no there's no negotiations anymore. There's end of discussion. He stays. Or are you in the perspective that, sure, I note that the manager wants him, but we can find a similar player, same attributes, for much lower price to come in and do the job? So let me know. I mean, look, as I said, it may not be the same. It may be the same attributes, but the player may not have the same passion, the desire, and the will to play for Chelsea Football Club. So look, I understand the outrage, but at the same time, I understand why people might not feel the same way about Conor Gallagher, and looking at selling him. So from my personal point of view, I'm not too fussed. If he was to sold, I completely get it. And if he's not, so be it. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section, let me know what you think about that. Now, next up, Lewis Hall is available to play for Newcastle against his parent club after Chelsea grants permission. This is coming from Nizar Kinsella. It's not more the fact that Chelsea granted permission. It's how the contract was apparently set out when he went to Newcastle. This is what Matt Law talks about. Lewis Hall's future is not dependent on the number of appearances he makes for Newcastle United during his season-long loan, coming from Matt Law. Unlike in the Premier League, where Lewis Hall is automatically prevented from playing against Chelsea, it's understood the club were effectively powerless to stop the 19-year-old playing after the draw was made because of the nature of the original deal. So this is coming from Matt Law. So, ladies and gentlemen, Lewis Hall will be eligible to play against us, which, look, for me, it doesn't really matter. Like, the way I look at it, he's a Newcastle player. I think Newcastle will end up purchasing him, and it will end up triggering that obligation to buy. Even if he was to come back to Chelsea, I don't think Mauricio Pochettino will fancy a player like Lewis Hall, because what's the difference between Lewis Hall and Ian Martin? If height is an issue, Levi Colwill will continue to be the left back at Chelsea Football Club. So we can sit here, cry, moan about, oh my God, we let another. I don't think in this case, I think it's the manager who probably doesn't fancy a player like Lewis Hall or Ian Martin, who are similar in stature. So I've got no issues. He's going to face up against Chelsea. Yeah, I hope he doesn't do well against us, of course. I hope he panics in front of goal if he does get into goals and thinks about Chelsea Football Club. But look, once again, there's outrage that, Chelsea gave the permission to allow Lewis Hall to play against us. That's not the case. Apparently, that's how the contract was done from the get-go. Chelsea were powerless. I think Newcastle might have said that, yeah, sure, no problems. He's not going to be eligible in the Premier League, and that makes sense. He's on loan. But for the cup games, he's definitely going to be eligible, because they want to be able to give Lewis Hall as much as minutes as possible and grow him, because he's their player. As I said, they will most likely trigger that obligation to buy. So look, we don't have to blame Chelsea for everything. This is another news that's made people very, very outraged. But I think in this case, maybe Chelsea were just a little bit powerless in the entire situation. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea have no intention of letting winger Noni Madueke leave the club on loan in January. There is no desire at Stamford Bridge to sanction a loan move for the 21-year-old. Any other established first-team squad, there is no desire at Stamford Bridge to sanction a loan move for the 21-year-old or any other established first-team squad member. So this is coming from David Owenstein. The word is that the loan system is really going to be there for players that need development. Loan is not going to be there for players that are in the first-team squad. So Noni Madueke is in the first-team squad. He's mostly injured, but he is still in the first-team squad, doesn't get any minutes, which makes me think he won't be loaned, no problems. He will not be loaned. He will most likely be sold, because he simply does not fit in. Surplus to requirements. We've got, attacking. Now we've got Nkunku coming back. So too many options up front. Players like Mudryk don't get opportunities to play day in, day out, match in, match out. So someone like Noni Madueke definitely is surplus to requirements. And don't forget players like Angelo Gabriel as well. At the moment, he's actually having a bit of a shaky time at Strasbourg, but he's another one that the owners bought, and will have a keen eye on him as well. So you best believe someone like Noni Madueke, it completely makes sense to not loan him out. If he's not in the plans of Chelsea Football Club for the future, being part of the first team squad, then you best just sell him at the moment. So ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all the latest in Chelsea news at the moment. Most importantly, it's the Conor Gallagher news. Let me know how you feel about that. I need to understand what you think about the whole Conor Gallagher situation. Would you be okay if he's sold? Would that make you angry? Would you care at all? Let me know in the comment section. And I shall see you guys for a live stream tomorrow, earlier on, about 9:30 a.m. UK time, where we'll do the Chelsea versus Newcastle match preview in the Carabao Cup that's coming up. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, take care and see ya.